my Twitter account together. Hey. Oh, I was supposed to put on some music. That's copyright protected, so Facebook don't get me. All the way live. Would they get you for singing if you singing the song?
They shouldn't. You just got joy in your heart.
Right. Put this up. Okay. We got water band-aids. All right. Woohoo! Woo-oo. See how we doing in our group. We have been on 1:19. Got to get started. So how was your day, Miss Camille?
Woo, long day. Definitely did some hustling today. Hustling of all the hustling. You know, I'm on with you. I worked my full time, and I'm also looking into joining with another organization. So I went to their little informational that I ended up getting paid for.
Hey, that's how you do it. Increase those streams of income.
Okay. Always. What'd you do today? How was your day?
Just working. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to split myself into 10 people according to this job.
Okay.
So yeah, no, we need to. I if I'm going to be multiplicity, one of those streams got to be out in Hollywood. That's all I know. That's all I know. So, but we're streaming. We are on.
Yay, we're live.
And see if we are in our set. Oh, there we are. Yes, we are. Yay. Okay. So we're excited here. I'm Coach Carla Renee. Thank you for joining me. We're just letting more people sign on. We are live on Facebook, Twitter. I'm sorry, did I say Twitter? Facebook and and YouTube. And we're also coming to you on Clubhouse. So we can no matter where you are, we are going to get you on this day to talk about, is dating a social experiment? Or are you truly trying to find love? Are you truly? So,
what you think?
I mean, Camille, tell us a little bit about your story, honey.
So, I have been married for 5 years.
Hey.
And I will say happily married. You know, there's always ups and downs, but definitely happily married. But tap in with them coaches, okay?
Right.
That's part of it. But my story is, not unlike most people's. Dated the wrong person for a very long time. Thought we was gonna get married. You remember that?
Right.
College days. Woo, Lord, I was
college.
Thank you, Jesus. But my husband at the church that we go to, and from there we just been building.
Right.
Making all these adult decisions. Well, starting to make adult. Just bought a house in the last year.
Yeah.
Doing grown-up stuff.
Adulting.
And
it's not always ghetto, no matter what the meme says.
Yeah, just the work part. But the relationship part is all right.
All right. And I know we were having a great conversation, and which is interesting. Why I was really pressed to do this event today was because today is my 1-year anniversary of my divorce. And so I named it my Happy New Year. This is my Happy New Year. And as I said, I know, right? And as I said, it's not a dig at my ex or anything to that effect, but it's just a 1 year of celebrating the me a year after my divorce, and just how things have changed, and really just relating to myself, deciding what I want, really focusing on what I want, but most importantly, first and foremost, 1000%, focusing on me. And sometimes that's hard, but this year it took me to do all of that. Early on, right after divorce, I did the crazy thing, tried to date, and was like, nope, this is not gonna work. But what happened is I started, just really looking around, just looking at different things, and I landed upon Love is Blind. You know, there, of course, there are so many other love relationship reality shows out there, but they didn't catch my attention the way Love is Blind did. And so now, no, we were talking because we both had watched it as well as you. What were some of the other shows that you were watching?
Oh my gosh, I am obsessed. When I tell you I'm obsessed, The Ultimatum, Ready to Love on Own,
Mm.
Put a Ring on It. Now there's one that is Married. There's another one on Own. I can't remember what it's called. I'll find it. But it's where the woman is same thing as Ultimatum, giving them an ultimatum. I'm sorry, not giving them an ultimatum, but proposing to the guy or the girl right on the spot, and then they get married on the spot.
Wow.
So obsessed.
And it's so interesting because we're thinking, how is that even possible? Like, how are you so just, I'm just gonna, marry this person that, they either have been together, or are these people, and they don't know each other. They don't even see each other, anything. So they're just based solely on conversation. Then they make a decision on if they want to be with this person, and then within 4 months they're married, which is interesting. But with the shows that you're talking about, they know each other, or they've been in a relationship. Except for Ultimatum, they are in a relationship and they're putting the ultimatum down that either we getting married or we're breaking up, type of situation. Okay.
Yes, I love it. I watched the whole thing in one day. That's how much I
love it. That's terrible. That is terrible. But it really got me to thinking, because as I am looking, like I want to get back into dating, but I want to get back when I'm ready. And then just looking at the dating scene, and then I'm in different, join different clubs on Clubhouse, and I look at different things, and it really just makes me question, what am I ready? And then if I am ready, am I ready to do some of the things that I'm hearing that these people are out here doing with these relationships? And I was like, I don't know, because I'm still a little old school, a little old fashioned, that I'm expected to be courted, and it's not all about, it's not the mindset of, oh, you have to pay for everything, and you have this, that, the other, or whatever. But I want to know that there's mutual interest. I'm not just chasing you. I don't want you just chasing me, so that we can, go back and forth together to have this, the situation. But it seems as though people are just doing some wild stuff out here for this dating situation. I think when I was in one room and they were talking about getting flown out, or flying people out, or flying yourself out to these, long distance situations, or meeting someone long distance and you're flying out. And I was like, what? What happened? Because it was so different. Once the internet opened and people had access to people all over the world, it changed dramatically.
Yes.
And now, because I was like, I'm married, I don't have to worry about that stuff. Well, now I'm not. And I do. And so it just really made me think about, really, what do I want? How do I set it up? What can I expect? And how things are changing, and how they're changing rapidly. But also, there is so much casualty of war, so much fodder on the field, dead bodies all over the place, because it's not working for everyone. And people, because they're bouncing around, they're jumping around, they're going from place to place. I think some of the most interesting conversation that I've heard, I saw a piece by Michael Todd. He said that dating, just going in and out of dating, is building your muscle memory of how to leave a relationship when things don't go the way you want. And that, I had to sit back, because that blew my mind. Because if you think that's how a real relationship works, as soon as there's conflict, you're out, it's not, you're missing out, because conflict makes a better understanding of the relationship and the person that you're in a relationship with. That was one of my
Yeah.
posts today, this morning, that you get strength from the conflict, because prior to that, if everything is surface and it's la 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 la, you're not really getting anything out of it, because you really don't know who these people are. They're not tested in the fire of relationship strength. So you don't know what that is. So people are, they're not, if you're just jumping in and out of relationships, it's not working. And also, because I do a challenge on relationships, one of the things I learned in my studies was that online dating sites are designed to keep you single.
Mm,
No matter how much they
that's
tell
scary.
you, oh, you're gonna find your mate, you're gonna find, because what happened is people are still, they're in a relationship. If they, especially if they didn't shut down their profile, you're
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, you're thinking, oh, I had 700 matches. I want to get in, I want to see what else is out there. But you just signed up to be in this relationship with this person. So, they're constantly just elevating, trying to get to the next person. Hey, 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 grown
Mm-hmm.
folk, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about, is dating a social experiment, or are you looking for love? And just those different things around it. So please definitely introduce yourself when you have a moment. But it is really interesting how, no matter what the situation is, people are still looking for more. They're still looking for that next thing, even when they're saying they're in a thing, they're in a relationship. But
Mm-hmm.
because you're strengthening your muscle memory for leaving a relationship, how are you really managing that? What are your thoughts?
Right. I definitely agree. I mean, I've never done online dating or anything, but I can understand how, when you're in that single time, especially for, millennials,
Right.
it's exciting. I do remember, between an ex and my husband feeling like, oh, I got the juice. Like, I'm out here, like I'm going on dates. Every other day I was with somebody different. It wasn't anything sexual, but it was just exciting.
Hmm.
Like, ooh, someone likes me. Someone wants to, hang out and do something different.
Right.
Like, and it is, a lot of people in my generation also talk about having like a different guy for like different things. So like you have your guy that you know is going to take you fine dining. So you might be at Smith and Wolinski's, you might be at Ocean Club, or you might be at might have a different person that takes you to like jazz spots if that's what you like.
Hmm.
So I can see how a dating site, especially if you haven't had that
Right.
traction that you would like just in the real world, you meeting someone online and you got 700 matches and you just like, oh yeah, I got the juice. I'm about to date everybody. It makes sense. It definitely makes sense now that you brought that up, but it's also, you know, scary and telling about the relationship skills that we all have in
Right.
general, like with platonic relationships.
Right. Right. It is just all over the place. And then one of the groups that I was in, we were talking about, who's spending money on whom, who's paying for the first date, and things of that nature. And it's just, wow. And then you're going, and now we have these shows. It's like, it's not about who's spending money on whom. You're in this vacuum, and you're supposed to find love. And because it started with Love Is Blind, because originally it was going to be, Is Love Blind and Deaf? Because if you couldn't see the red flags, but you could definitely hear that some of those people were not for you. You could hear that, but yet and still you wanted to keep moving forward. Particularly the one couple where she was a Catholic and he was an atheist. Why were you even still having the
Yes.
conversation? I just did not. What did
Yes.
you think was going to happen? That was the craziest
And I
thing. Like, what did you think was going to happen? That you.
and that was scary. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that you. What was you going? Think you were going to change him? No.
Right. Right. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like she was willing to temporarily be blinded and forget about what her main values were to try to make something work. It's like it makes you look desperate, especially on TV when you can actually play it back and see
Repeatedly.
repeatedly what everybody else is probably thinking and seeing.
Right. The part that is just interesting to note. We've grown up in church and we've heard it so many times we can't even count. You can't be with somebody unequally yoked because you while you trying to pull them in the church, they are truly trying to pull you out. So
Right.
where was that pull going to go? Where you going to get pulled? Did you think you was going to convert him to Catholicism, or where were you going to go? Especially when you took him around your family, who was looking like, what do you mean he's atheist? What even I'm pretty sure that mother was like, okay, he had to go. It's time for him to go. This not even happening. We're not even playing with Jesus like this. But it is just how people will try to manipulate the situation by pretending to be something that they're not, in hopes to get the person or that have them to change, when in reality it's not going to happen.
Right.
They're not going to change like that.
Yeah, that was probably the most problematic. Well, I don't know if they were the most problematic, but they were one of the couples where I was just like, we can learn a lot from her,
right,
choosing him and deciding to go through with it and to settle, even though she was not who she was looking for,
right,
who he was looking for at all. But what did you really think about Jared also and Ayana? Yeah, her name's Ayana. Like
yes,
how they got together, because I mean, Guy wanted Mallory.
Right. And you're like, okay, wait, why did you what? And see, and that's the thing. Like, you're basing it solely on conversation, and you're creating, and words are powerful. You're creating these bonds through these words, but at the same time, you have too many choices. And so then you have to start making decisions. Do I want this? Do I want this? Do I want this? Do I want this? And it's like, so then you have to settle, because there is no going out and dating. Before you can see who you're picked, you have to pick one. You can't pick, like, okay, let me date her and then let me go out and date. No, it's none of that. So that situation, I just was looking like, and then for them, like, once everybody saw each other, and then you're talking to her, and then you're like, oh, and I know this and I know this, and then the other person with the date that were dating back and forth, it was too much.
I'm still on mute. You think I would learn by now? Yeah, I was just thinking about Ayana. Like, would you have not? I mean,
right?
They're happily married now, but would you have like, nah, I'm cool, because he didn't want her?
Right. And initially,
I would have been stuck. I would have been stuck right there. Like, you didn't originally want me anyway.
Right. Let's move on. Let's call it what it is. But I think just that, the love is blind, and then the ultimatum.
Yes. Did you finish it?
No, I did not finish it. But here's the thing: how are you going to give me an ultimatum and then go off and date somebody else? Explain that to me. I'm totally confused. How do you do that?
That show is a cluster to begin with. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to give it away, but people are getting engaged, and it's just like, what? You could have just got engaged before y'all came here. What are you doing?
Why are you trying to get Insta famous?
Right.
And then now you're on TV looking crazy. And my question is, how do y'all go back to y'all jobs like this? What do you do with your job now? It's like, oh, I saw y'all on TV acting crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess, that, if that's your mindset, that's your mindset.
Or maybe they are banking on, you know, there are videos going viral and just getting other opportunities from like Netflix or, wherever. Maybe that is the goal.
I don't know, but I thought the goal was the relationship. So that
Mm,
would make you think that the goal is not the relationship. The goal
right,
is the popularity, the fame, the
right,
suddenness, as opposed to I want to be in a relationship. I want to be with someone that we are compatible. We fell for each other. We have this in common, or so it doesn't seem to be that.
right. I was
So
proud of the girl Ray, who chose herself,
I
but
saw that.
also
I
ended
saw
up
that.
coming out. Yeah, coming out and just really choosing what she had been struggling with for years. She just decided to, go out on a limb, go ahead and try it. I'm like, good for you.
Right.
Good
Right.
for you. No sense in living a lie forever.
Right.
It obviously wasn't working with the guy she was with. So,
And the crazy part about it is they know this, but yet they're still kind of but then they're impacting other people's lives.
mm-hmm.
That's my mom. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And you're a
Yeah.
life coach, you're a relationship
Yes. That's
coach.
all I
What
need
would
to
you
know.
say for the people who have issues just leaving in general? Like, is that a personality trait issue? Like, what would you
It,
say?
it yes, I would definitely say that there is something that they are struggling with. Maybe they were in a situation where they're putting this on what happened to them as parents, and what from their
Mm-hmm.
parents, or something that happened to them when they was growing up, and now it is causing them to feel like, no, I don't want to be abandoned, I don't want to be alone, I got to do whatever it
Mm-hmm.
takes to keep this together, even when they know this is not good for me. This is definitely
Mm-hmm.
not a good situation for me. But they have to come to a point where they want them and their health and their healthy relationships and the best for them more than they want anything else. That's what
Right.
has to happen. Because beyond that, they're going to keep looking for love.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be right in front of their face, but they're so focused on what their perception is of love based on what the show has said or society has said or what they've read said. Because if Cosmo put up another way to make him scream, and the sex and all of this stuff, and it's still every month, it's the same thing every month. It's not that much in in the human body. Come on, people, it's not that much in the human body. But it's always like it's always something more, something more, something more, and you're going to continue to search for something more, something more, something more, and then you have to make a decision. That's the sad part.
Yeah. And I always think about that too because it's like, my parents are divorced now,
Hmm.
but they just stayed together so long. And so I just always thought, and I still think, like, that you're just supposed to stay regardless. Like, you're supposed to make it work. You're supposed to make it
Right.
work.
And that's when I think about when I would not have left. I would not have ended, but it got so toxic for me personally that I started forgetting who I was and why I was here, and that I have a purpose, and that there's things that I was put on this earth to do. I had stopped doing all that, trying to make sure I was that the wife, and trying to be the biblical and things. But what people fail to realize, it takes two. And I watched people in churches that, just being degraded and dogged, and just, but no, I'm gonna stay. I'm praying them through. I'm praying them through. Even when the Lord has said it's time to go, you know,
Mm.
even when you've been told, but because back in the day it was frowned upon, like, oh no, you don't do that. You shouldn't do that. But isn't it more important to be healthy and display that you are loved by the person that you said God gave you? So then that will make, if I'm not a believer and I see you in this relationship and it's terrible and you saying that's who God gave you, I would not want to serve that God. That is
Right.
not a God
Right.
I want to be kicking it with. Like, so he'll give you somebody that treats you terrible? Why would he do that? That's not a good person. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, that's wild.
Woo.
But
You bringing up some great points. I mean, and I mean, since we've touched on it, like, let's talk about how the church kind of made that a tough one. Like, we don't talk enough about,
we don't.
us as educators.
We
We don't
don't.
talk enough about, like, being in relationships and healthy relationships, and even being healthy. Like, I don't ever recall to this day talk about being healthy.
Not at all.
Like,
not at all. Because
we're the most servantist people that are unhealthy
until you literally drop dead. How many folks have, and then they get mad at you like, well, she can't come. She's sick, man. She's sick. Oh, well, let us know when she get better. What, y'all not coming to visit? I mean, especially some of those small churches where they, where you had 10 jobs in the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then where, you was seen as being selfish when you was doing self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you have to take care of yourself. This is the temple. Take care of yourself. But so many women caught up in these situations because it's put in your head, you got to get married. You should be married. You're in the church. You need to be married. You need to be married. Then, as soon as somebody come to church, and slick brothers, they knew, oh, you want a good girl, go to church, get her, hem her up, and then you set.
Yeah.
And you're like that.
And we are not downing the church at all.
Not at all. So please know that. So please don't send Jesus after me. We already talked.
Right.
But at the same time, there was and I was reading about the story of this woman. She was, very into the church and was abused and had to get out. And it was just like people were just like dragging her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so let me understand this. You're telling me you serve a God that would rather you, for the sanctimony, for the I was gonna say sanctimonious, but it was just for the picture of marriage. Mm-hmm. Not even the real marriage, the real act, the real marriage, but just the picture of marriage. Want you to be in a situation where you've been abused, beat down, drugged through, and so then you get up, wig can't fit on your head, like a Tina Turner situation, got knots on your head, you can't even put your wig on, and then you stand in front of a church and say, how much you love God and how it's amazing. That is conflicting, and that does not show that you are truly in a godly relationship. Because I don't, even when I was just hurt, just like messed up, like I knew that the Lord was working and not working on me. And the thing was, I was like, Lord, no, you are going to fix this because we're going to stay together. This is what you said. But the realization is when he already knew the outcome. When he put you together, I felt like I had a lot that I had to learn because I had a fairy tale view of what marriage is supposed to be. Because I was basing it on everything I did not want marriage to be. So I was doing the opposite. And because that is not how a realistic marriage work.
Right.
Things has to happen. And and trust me, I was not in an abuse situation. I really thoroughly loved my husband. I tried to do everything that I felt I was supposed to do. Excuse me. But it wasn't always, hey Lord, is this what we're supposed to be doing? Or it was just, fleshy. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Right.
It was that flesh, girl. Right.
That is so real.
Yes. So I don't know. But let me tell you about this. Since we talked about dating, there was a reality show, and it was it was like a beastie show or something where they dressed. They had they were animals.
I know exactly. Yes.
I went past it and I was just like, is this that show what the people having sex with the furry outfits on? But no, it was a dating. Right. So they, and it was, you got to date and based on just going out with them and dating, and then you got to see them because then they had on all this prosthetic makeup and this stuff, and so sometimes you didn't even know what race they were.
Right.
And I thought that was the most interesting show because at
It
least you did
was.
get to go out and date. You get to go out with the you show it was 3 people. You got to choose. You got to knock one off. Then you got to have somebody else, and then go on dates. And I think that was really interesting. But it's still it still had the same outcome premise that this total stranger you're going to end up dating. And then like some couples were like, yeah, oh yeah, this is what's happening. And then some couples like, meh. And they were like, I wish I
Well,
could have picked that other person. They were beautiful. They was gorgeous. But it all comes back to, can you hear really what you want? Like with my program, Find the Love for Your Life. If you do not know what you want, which is the second step, defining it. If you cannot define it, then you don't know what you want, and you're going to take anything that you want for that moment. And when you define it and you know what it is, and you can just like, oh, this is it, you're better off because when you see it coming, you like, I recognize it. When something else is coming towards you, you like, that's not it. No, mm-mm. We need something else. Let's go in a different direction. But I think that it is so interesting by having a defined definition and outside, and it doesn't even have to deal with looks, but what you want in this person physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and sexually. Even though
yeah.
sexually is last, it's still important. That doesn't mean just because it's last is not as important, but because it's last, that's when you should. That's after you get those other 5 situated, then the end sexually should fall in line. But because people skip right over to the end sexually, and then everything else is colored, and then you try to make something work, and then you find out this dude is broke. This dude doesn't know how to handle his finances. This chick is her health is terrible, and she does it on purpose, and she knows she's supposed to. So you're missing all this other stuff that had you define and took your time. You wouldn't have had this problem.
So
What
give us a because y'all need to go ahead and get this program
you need to get this
for
program
those
because,
who
and then
and
here's the
people
thing.
who are married too.
Listen, because you can still just go back and just look like, oh, let's tighten this up. Let's tighten this up. Because everybody's out here talking about streams of income and everybody on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be on the same page if you have secrets that you're keeping from each other. And case in point, I was reading on something on
Say that again. Hold
TSR.
on. Say that
You
again.
you you
You
can't
never
have
screen
secrets if you're
past
keeping
that.
stuff. I mean, what's done in the dark was shown in the light, and it was show brightly. Okay, there was a woman that posted on TSR. She was saying that her and the guy were together. She takes care of the money. She's stay at home mom. He works, whatever. Um, he finds out that she was making money online and had her own separate stash. So she's wondering, what's who's wrong? You're wrong, sis. And she's like, my mama always said you should have a secret stash, and your mama always was prepared to leave at the drop of a dime. If you're in it and everything is the way you said you wanted it to be, what is the purpose of a secret stash? I don't understand that. Do both of y'all have a secret stash to where like, hey babe, this is our secret money for when we go on a vacation or whatever? But
Right.
why do you have a totally separate secret stash? I don't understand that. And then you're
Oh wow.
upset when you get found out.
Mm-hmm.
So and then it comes again. Is this a social experiment or were you really looking for love? So now you don't get yourself in a
Mm.
situation to where trust is destroyed. It's like
Mm-hmm.
demolished. I
That's
don't know.
interesting.
I don't know. What,
That's interesting.
what are your thoughts?
I never thought that just shows the other person that you're just ready to go. If
Right.
something was to go, that's interesting.
Because if okay, my husband and I we had our own individual accounts and we had a joint account.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
our individual accounts, that was it. There was no other accounts outside of that, and that was for our Mad Money. So like
Right.
I had business related stuff that came out of that account, so it did not impact the stuff for
The
the
bill
house.
money.
And he
Yep.
had, you know, whatever he had. Um,
Mhm.
it became a problem when the stuff that you had was impacting the marriage.
Mm.
Like, wait, why are you doing that? And you're not putting money into the marriage account. When that happens, then the question is, so what are you really here for? What are you doing? Are we in a relationship? Are we roommates now? What is happening?
Mhm. Yeah.
Those are
And
my
and
thoughts.
and that's a. I'm not a relationship coach at any means, but that's where you got to check in, like where we at financially. What are our goals? And I
Right.
think I learned. Me and Eric learned that year one from you. So
Thank you.
get this product, y'all.
Right. Get it. Get it. Right. Because that was my mindset. Like we have a vacation fund. We have a, whatever. Then, we say that we bought two houses, and then, what are the long term goals? Because I want to have something to leave to grandchildren and great grandchildren, and what not. But you can't do that if you don't have a true understanding of how money works. And like, oh, I just want to do this and I want to do that, I want to do that. Okay, well, that's fine. You can't have that if you don't have a true understanding of that your health is your wealth. That you want to be out here, your blood pressure through the roof, you think you got diabetes, and you can't be out here if you have mental issues, and you haven't taken care of them because you don't want to be stigmatized or whatever. All this stuff has to work together in concert, and in order for that to happen, you have to be open and honest about it. Especially, because once you get to a certain age, all those functions don't function.
Right.
Let's just be clear.
Right. So talk a little bit more about your program. Like, what will people be getting with your program?
Uh,
How long is it?
and that's thank you, because one of the things I said for this, at this new year, I'm gonna do a 28-day of the program. So you can just jump in. You have to join the group in order for you to be part of it, of my group, Facebook, called Find the Love for Your Life. If you're on Facebook, if you're not on Facebook, then you can catch the information on YouTube, because that way, if you're not a person that's on social media, you can get the same information off YouTube. But on my YouTube channel at Coach Carla Renee. But it will really take you from wondering what do you want in your relationship to really what you want and in your relationship from your mate and from yourself. The biggest thing is, what do you want from yourself? So many people are, oh, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be in a relationship, but they're defining it based on that little moment in time. My program is called Find the Love for Your Life, at capital F, capital O, capital R,
Mm-hmm.
because that is what it's about. It is what is for your life. You are the love of your life. So if you are trying to find the love of your life outside of yourself, you're going to have some issues, because then you're putting all of that on someone else. And if they fail, it's not your fault, it's their fault because they failed. But if you are the love of
It
your life,
is.
you can see this person is for me, and I can see that.
Right.
But when you're just really
And when they
focusing,
fail,
right, right,
because every year, I'm telling you, every year it looks different.
it
Some
does.
days you're
Say
in
it
love,
again.
some days you can't stand them. I know he can't stand me a lot of days.
Girl, that man love you. And you know what? Listen, it's not saying that it's not about love. As you're growing together, things are changing, moving, body parts are shifting, ups and downs. But you're growing together because you're for each other. Because you have made that commitment, you made that plan. Haven't defined really what you want, who you are, who they are, what you want. You're gonna take well, it's 6 steps, it's six things to define by. All five is good, and then you get the one that you really need. Like, you really, the sexual part ain't all that, but I got the other five. Oh no, that's how people cheat, because those connections are strong. And as you get older, it changes, of course, because body functions and everything. But you want to have as much of all of what you really want as much as possible. You got to have that, because when you don't have it, you will see it in other people. So that is what will be magnified in the other person. So that other person will have that one trait, and that's all you're looking at, because that one trait is not in the person that you with. And everybody you see is gonna that one trait is gonna be like man, 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 and you're gonna be like, oh, that's what I want. That's what I want. You're gonna leave what you have, thinking this one trait is gonna happen, and you get over there with that one trait, and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. But now you done messed up, and that's because you did not define what you were looking for. From there, so it's healing, forgiving, defining and believing, and living and loving. And then that is really where you start going out and really focusing on who you said you are, and putting all that into place, being able to walk into a room confident, strong, and know that, hey, when I walk out of here, someone is gonna have my number. I'm gonna have their number, because I feel that vibe is happening in here. So just really helping you get to that point.
So this question, I'm not of the older generation, but for people who have been married, been divorced, might have a deceased spouse, whatever, that's getting back out there.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is their first step to getting back out there and learning to love themselves where they're at now?
Definitely is looking at where you are. If you had anything that may have that's hindering you, like let's say you're divorced, and you're still salty, upset, mad, glad, whatever about the divorce, you have to forgive yourself for anything that you feel that you may have contributed to the divorce, and then you have to heal from that. Which is why after I realized like I was not ready to date, I just lay low, just because I really want to focus on who I am alone, because we're born alone, we're gonna die alone, unless something crazy happen, you in a car accident or something, God forbid. But you're born alone and you're gonna die alone. You need to be content with being alone, because once you are content with being alone, when you are with the right one, you know it. Because when you are not with the right person, you don't even understand what peace is. And
Right.
And I can tell you, I remember one day when I felt peace, it just blew my mind. Like, wow, that is crazy. But you have to be content with being by yourself.
So for us married folks, it is super easy, especially when you first get married. You're so excited.
Right.
And you get lost. What advice or what would you tell us, like, to continue to love yourself, but also make your spouse feel important?
Right, because now you're married now, so two became one. You don't abandon what you already have. That's when you really need to start sitting down and just having those hard conversations. Because for us, the hardest conversation was finances, and just trying to understand. I had this view of finances, he had this view of finance, and they just could not meet. And then from there it just kept falling out. Sitting down and have that difficult conversation. And then once you commit, and then both people on the same page, then you take the next one, and then you commit and figure it out. Because I was a blended family, so we both came with kids, and we knew we weren't having any more kids. Just really looking at how to blend well, and just helping moving that along and doing the different. So, finding out what each person is needing, and then being real and honest, and knowing that what, it's gonna be some tears, it's gonna be some hurt. Then y'all say everything, you say your piece, then forgive. Forgive, and then your healing will be together healing, because then you're gonna heal from what what you were doing and what you was committed to, or you was bringing to the relationship, that you now realize, I should have left that at mama's house, or I should have left it at daddy's house. And now you're like, okay, we're together. Let's heal. Let's figure this out. And then you just keep moving forward and constantly doing check-ins and just like, hey, and it's just like thinking of it like when people are businesses, like you have business meetings, and that's the date night. I really wish we would have kept the date nights. We didn't keep the date nights, and re- remembering who is in your circle, because that's the biggest influence of the people that's in your circle. If you got godly, solid relationship people in your circle, you're gonna have that's the kind of thing you're gonna be working with, because they're gonna be like, okay, no, I know I can't do dirt around them because they're gonna take me to the altar and start checking me. But if you have married and then you have single friends that's out there on the sneak tip, but they got a girlfriend, but they still out there sneaking, it's gonna leak on either side. So you just really have to watch the company that you keep.
That's great advice. That's great advice. So, how do we sign up for the program? How do we get in contact with you? All of those things.
It's going to start on in the group. Are you in the group? Find the love for your life.
I am not on Facebook, so I'm not.
Okay, so you know what, we'll do you on YouTube. So you'll be connected to the YouTube channel. We'll get all that information, and then it's just because it'll be daily videos, daily things to consider, points, and I won't say points to ponder, but that is all about Reader's Digest. So no Reader's Digest. I did not steal that. I just said it, but just things to think about. Little tiny exercises, to get you to thinking about. Oh, really? I never didn't think about this, or I never focused on that. Different things like that, and then that's just so you can see what is available and what's happening, especially if you're single and you said you're ready to date. And if you're married and you're like, I just want to keep it fresh so that no matter what happens, we know how we can come back. If we have a moment, we had to come back and we know, like, sit down and hug it out. Um, those types of things.
Awesome, awesome. And the program is, say it one more time.
Find the love for your life.
Right,
But y'all already got the love for your life, so y'all will be solidifying the love for your life.
All about personal growth and improvement.
Yes.
Sure.
Definitely, because you're just making it more and more solid, and like the one thing that you said that I love is that it's the growth factor. You're growing, and it's changing. Like some days you're not gonna love the person. You think, you know what, man, you breathed all in my face last night. I couldn't even sleep. I don't like you right now. The other days it's like, you know what, I saw you on stage, I saw you performing, I saw you doing that thing, and I was in love with you all over again. And it's just like, really, the communication part is very, 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 very important. Because once everybody talk about their love languages and different things like that, but what I like to do with my couples is like either real colors or strength quests. So then yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. So you can see, okay, my strength is this, his strength is this. This is how we can combine that. Or I'm a blue and he's a gold, and this is how we can work that together. So just those different things to help you enjoy yourself.
And you're still doing the personal coaching, so let's
Yes.
be real clear, y'all. If you need personal dating or not,
I got you.
It's about dating yourself. I believe you said that. So
yes,
it's good to always keep up with what you got going for you.
Definitely. And listen, I can remember going out by myself, taking myself to dinner, taking myself to the movie. And trust me, I'm in a very expensive date to myself, honey child. I almost broke up with me a couple of times. But it be so that I could be comfortable being alone. Because people that are not comfortable being alone as dealing with something, I just don't want to be by myself. Okay, now I'm not saying put yourself in a situation where you're in danger, but just being okay being by yourself. Like, I would sit, like, I can remember times when I could not sit in quiet. Something always had to be playing. There has to be something going on. The TV playing in the background, something. Now, I can sit in the room with absolutely nothing on and be quite okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be comfortable being by yourself.
But how did you get there? What was the process?
Because it just was always something, and I couldn't focus my mind. I needed to hear stuff. Hey, Coco. I needed to hear stuff, but I couldn't because something was always going on in the background. Something was always happening. There was something here, there, every, and I said, you know what? I just need to just unplug. So while I was in college, I went to a retreat at my job sent me because I was in grad school. And the whole time we was there, it was a week-long conference. I had to unplug. No phone. Only time I could use the phone was at the, was at the social media hour, where we was connecting with everyone and doing different things. That's the only time we could all watch TV, and we all had to watch TV together, and we could only watch the news. So when we got back to the room, that there'll be some conversation, and people would just sit and just think, and that was the most eye opening because prior to that, I was tethered. This is early cell phone days. They weren't as smart as they are today. There was the flip phones and the different things, and you had the hologram screen, save the screen sticker. It was during that time, and so when that allowed me to unplug, it really opened me to where silence was okay, and sitting in silence allowed me to really hear myself, hear me in the background, hear what I was saying to myself. And some stuff I was saying to myself was not nice. I didn't like it. So I really started focusing back on the affirmations and really started speaking to myself. So like when I get into bed, it's just reminding myself who I am.
All right. Yeah, I love those affirmation cards that, it's been about a year or two since
Yes.
we're doing my personal coaching. Those
Yes.
affirmation cards I keep in my purse
Me too.
just to get through a lot of days.
Me too. And it's because it is so, you just need a moment sometimes. Just pull out a card and just, because like the deck that I'm carrying today, this week, is peace. It's all about peace because there's so much turmoil and stuff. And it's like, I just need a moment. I just need some peace, because I got two kids now and my mom. It's wild. That's a whole nother show.
Yes.
Right. And so now it's just like, just getting peace and getting them together and getting them situated and stuff like that. So that is definitely why I carry the deck. And so now I'm getting the focus and going to move stuff around to where, you know what, I'm just going to do the cards and and affirmation related stuff and the coaching. Those two things go hand in hand. Love it. Everything else, catch me outside.
How about that?
How about that? But definitely, but I know I don't want to keep everybody because we've been on here chitty chatting almost an hour. But definitely, if you want to, see, the replays will be on in the Facebook group and on YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is at Coach Carla Renee on YouTube. Look me up so you can go back and listen to this. I'll be pushing it all over the place. But we're gonna come back again. So definitely, starting next Monday is when we're gonna start the daily Finding Love for Your Life moments. So I'm gonna hit you with something based on that whatever it is for that day. So it starts with healing, forgiving, and then it goes down through the 6 characteristics, and then here's how you can do some confidence boosting and some confidence building, how to walk in the room and own it, different things like that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this and tag along.
Yes, I appreciate it. I was so glad it just worked out that this was today because last week I took my computer apart and computers was just, I think my computer was mad at me, but it loved me now. It loves me now. But it happened when it was supposed to happen. And
yes,
today, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, toss one back and just have a good day. And it's it's a new year, so
yes, happy
so,
New Year.
I know, happy New Year. So and I thought it was really interesting that the Lord dropped that in my shana now, and I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll with it, Jesus. That's what we're doing.
Yep, that's all you can do.
That's all you can do, baby. So listen, we are going to shut it down. And I want to thank you all for joining me on Facebook and YouTube. Yay! So yes, because I got a little bit more work to do later on today. But I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Camille, for being on here, helping the sister out. I'm looking to do some different things, and we was trying this on being live on Facebook and YouTube as well as on Clubhouse, because there's some bigger things that the Lord is blessing us with. So we definitely want to make sure we see how this works. And this was a great opportunity for this to work. So I'm looking forward to the long term things that's going to happen. So this is awesome. But yes, we're going to shut
All right.
So as we prepare to shut the room down, we're going to shut it down in. Let me get everything together. All right. We're going to shut it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In room. Yay. Oh, she was online. Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 6 1